5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Genius Brain Podcast. We got two very special guests in the house. I gotta tell you right now, this is two of one of the funniest fucking groups on the internet, YouTube, just comedy in general. I've known these cats for a very fucking long time. Yes, a very, very long time. Probably one of the only few black people I know in LA. That's not true. That's not. But we got Dormtainment in the house, 2 out of 3. Yo. We got Amanuel and Mike.
What's
motherfucking
up,
damn.
David? What's up, David? Thank you for having us, man.
Yeah, man, I've been trying to get you guys on for a minute. It was funny because I was contacting Rome, and Rome's like, I'm out of town. I'm like,
Rome's always out of town.
Yeah. He's on
we
his
call
spiritual
Rome
journey.
on the go Rome.
Yo, I didn't know Rome was fucking fat back in the day.
Oh
yeah,
my God.
Yeah. We always make fun of him.
Yeah, we called him Fatima. He damn sure was big, man.
Yeah. That's why Rome is so humble right now. Because, he's a handsome, like, you would think, like, he would be out here, like, but he's mad humble because he always knows it's, like, 10 cakes away.
That's the great thing about the transformation, though. And I think you're going to get to that point. You're getting to that point. But if you were formerly fat in any type of way and you felt those insecurities, or if you were formerly ugly, and then you become beautiful, usually those people are the coolest people.
Yeah, you're
balanced.
You know what
I'm saying? I believe so. I mean, maybe some people get out of control.
Right.
But if you start looking your best later on in life, I feel like you're almost a better person.
I mean, I didn't even know I was fat. So, like, for me, I just thought I was good looking the whole fucking time. So it's like,
bro, you could have just asked
I'm kind of
me.
like that, too. Like, when I start getting, like, if I start working out, and then I see a picture of me when I was skinny. I was damn, I was skinny. But while I'm skinny, I'm like, I look good. What's everybody talking about?
Yo, I had like the highest self-esteem ever.
Yeah.
But like the only person that could check me was my fiance.
Okay.
So she was the one, and I told this before, she was the one that got me to realize I was fat. Because I was the fat guy that would sit and judge other fat people. And so I would sit there and I'm like, look at these fucking disgusting ass motherfuckers, And then she would just look at me and she'd be like, yo, bro, like you're the fattest motherfucker I've ever seen in my life. And I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like, I look good.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
That's hilarious.
But age too, because my knees started clicking. I was trying to play ball in my fucking...
Hold on. So you never felt down about being fat as a kid?
I think when I was younger, I did. But then after a while, like, you kind of have comedy to really just balance all that shit out, right?
Yes.
And so after a while, you start feeding into your own bullshit. You know what I mean? So like, I just like, I'm big, but I play ball. I move.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm fast for a big guy. Like, I like surprising people. You start like...
I got other attributes.
Rationalizing you're fat.
Yeah, like you justify a lot of things, especially because a lot of your friends, if you have good friends, they'll gas you up for no fucking reason.
Yeah,
you're like, you kind of fast for a big guy. And I'm like... You shouldn't have done that because you planted a seed in my head, and I'm like, motherfucker, I'm an athlete, dude. You know what I mean?
And that's the shit your friends don't even remember saying. Like, I said that to you.
Right.
Yeah, but when Rome told me he was fat, I was kind of shocked. I was like, damn, you just would have never guessed.
Oh yeah, man. He worked hard for it too, man. He put in the work. We seen it.
I can see it. I still see it in him. Like, I look at Rome and I'm like, I see the fat guy.
Yeah.
Like the way he looks at a cheesecake is like,
Oh yeah. Hypnotized.
Yeah, he's very. What's the word? Gully, like
jolly.
Yeah,
Gully. The Jamaican came out in this man.
He has a fat jolly side inside of him. Yeah,
it's funny because because we did that show, Joke Me Off, and so I guess like everybody on that show. So prior to that, I was shooting an indie film, so I didn't get to go to rehearsals, right? But during the rehearsals, everybody got this pitch deck. I didn't get the pitch deck, so I didn't know who was going to be on there. I found out Rome was going to be on there on the day I was there.
Oh, shit. That's how it usually happens with us, though. I feel like one time, I think when we first came to LA, Tracy Edmonds flew us out for something, you were there. Remember
right.
I don't know what we did.
It was
but
you and Cam.
Yeah. We filmed some like dinner scene. It was.
Yeah, she had her All Right TV network.
Yeah.
That's what launched our LA life. Honestly.
Really? It really is.
Her network. Yeah, because she moved her funding. That network started a show with us, and she gave us funding to do a show, and we used that money to come out here and start a life.
Really?
But, we were debating whether we were going to move to LA or not.
Yeah.
We were like,
shit.
We
were unsure because we were like, where are we going to live? And a lot of us, for the most part, were like, fuck it. Like, if it's a 1-bedroom, we got to sleep on the floor next to each other. That's what we got to do for the first year. Like, we were ready. Like, we were gung-ho.
Hungry.
And then that just kind of came out of nowhere. It was like, oh, Tracy Edmonds wants to buy. She bought like 10 clips of ours off our YouTube. She
licensed some stuff off our YouTube, and then also she paid us to write a cooking show for her.
Yeah, right, and feature in a cooking show.
Which was so random, but it was like, we'll take it. Let's do it.
Yeah, that's how we lived out here comfortably.
We did like
you guys do cooking shows? Of course we do.
Yeah, right.
Y'all huddle right after, like, hold on a second, guys.
Oh yeah, I'll figure it out.
Nah, but yeah, so that kind of contributed us to coming out here, and that's when we met you before that. Because I remember saying what's up to you, but like, oh, Dave, so was good.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, because y'all were visiting to come find a house.
And we did something with him.
Well, he was at the Tracy Esmond shoot because I took a picture.
But that was, I'm saying that time. I don't know that was the first.
We might have met through a full screen.
I think maybe that's what it was.
Maybe.
I don't even.
Abe. I don't.
Yeah, with Abe. That's what it was.
Yeah. Because I don't remember the origin.
Because Abe worked for Full Screen.
That's right. Yeah.
So then he was like, he always used to talk about David. Yeah. He always used to be like, I gotta hook y'all up with David.
Because the funny thing is, like, he knew about how poor my attitude was when I was here, right? Because I did stand up straight up.
Yeah.
And so, when you were around a bunch of stand ups, I felt like a lot of them were fucking assholes. And so I kind of absorbed that type of mentality. And like after a while, you kind of think, like, number one, to my discredit is that for YouTube, I thought I was above YouTube, right? Because I was the YouTuber that came from traditional stand-up. I was grinding out in the stand-up comedy clubs, whatever, right?
How long were you doing it for before?
I started when I was like 16.
Oh shit!
So when I came on YouTube, it was like I was 23 or some shit. So I had some years under my belt. And I decided to come here. And then every time I met somebody on YouTube, I fucking hated them. I was like, fuck these people. You know what I mean? Like, they were just like, what's the word I'm looking for? Fucking losers. And so, like, I just fucking hated them. But there was a few people that I clicked with. It was the JK people who I still work with today and you guys.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, these are just normal human beings. Because a lot of the YouTubers at the time, they just didn't know how to interact with people.
It felt like everything was the act. It felt like everything was either their impersonation of other YouTubers or they're so uncomfortable in their own shoes when there are other YouTubers that it makes it awkward. But the thing is, when we met David, like, yeah, I think you were one of the most genuine people we met. And it just clicked. Our comedy clicked together. Yeah. Like, I could tell off top.
And it was a mutual respect because not only just the attitudes of the other YouTubers, their content, I was just like, a lot of them, I just was like, this is true.
Yes.
Like, this is just not necessarily up to par with what we want to do, what we see ourselves doing. But when we saw your stuff, it was like, okay, this guy gets it. He has a sense of comedy.
And then he upped the production and stuff. Because early on YouTube, you were really trying to shoot high quality stuff.
And then anytime you would come do stuff with us, you would kill it. So it was like, I feel like we always gravitated towards the real ones in YouTube. Even if it's only 5, you know, we're always gonna find those guys. And,
the funny thing is too, because when people ask me to work on projects, if I don't really know them, like, I'll look at it and I'll think about it. You know what I mean? But if you guys ask me, I'm just like, let's do it. I'm like, whatever, let's fucking do it. Let's figure it out.
Same way, bro.
By the way, we put you in the most stereotypical role.
The funny shit,
Chin.
I saw the video again because there was 2 of them, right?
Yeah.
But they're still funny till this fucking
funny
day.
as fuck, man.
This is a humble brag, but our content. Someone tweeted it that it ages better.
Ages well,
than when it first comes out. Like when it
sure.
I don't know, like we edit, we shoot it, so by the time it comes out, we're just like,
we're past it.
Yeah. But like a year later, you go watch it, like, wow, this was really rich, man.
And I don't watch. I don't tend to watch our content a lot. It's usually like, I'm just like, all right, let's get better with the next one. On to the next one. How can we do better in the next one? But the times that I do take a break and actually go back and watch stuff, David's clips are fucking hilarious every fucking time. Like, I can't stop laughing.
The fucking episode.
And we have so many bloopers too. God damn it. We didn't even put those out yet, but we need to. Yeah.
The one with the Lean and Leon one, dude. Like, I was.
Lean and Leon goes to the chiropractor.
That shit was fucking funny.
That's
dude.
your spine right there. Your little butt.
The smallest shit, dude. The fucking X-ray drawing had me dying laughing. Oh shit, dude. I saw that shit. I was cracking the fuck up.
Yeah, we spent like $200 on that video, man. High production.
That was during a time though. I felt like I think for all of us too, and we talk about this a lot, where YouTube was really fun. It was fun. It was new.
Yeah.
It was super exciting. And I think like at that time, everybody's content was so different. And I got to sample a lot of different stuff.
Very true.
And now every time I go onto a channel, it's like, I've seen this already. Like I've seen this style, the way that you're speaking, the way it's set up, it's somebody else's shit. So like when I watch YouTube now, albeit I get very, I don't want to say sad, but it's hard for me to find content I fuck with.
Yeah, and I was thinking about this the other day. Like, it's I guess like if I'm assuming we're all 30s.
Yeah.
I think like the 20s and up kind of just adapted this like, oh, let's do what works.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily like, oh, let's try to find something that's different. It's just, oh, let's do what works.
Yeah.
I remember even talking to a younger person and them telling us like, why don't y'all just do reaction videos? Because I'm like, oh, our channel doesn't get as much views as it used to, whatever. Why don't y'all just do reaction videos? And I'm like, but that's not what we do.
Yeah.
So it's like they don't even process the fact that, oh, you're trying to do something. It's just do something that's popular and it'll get views. Like, what's the big deal?
But that's the thing about that too, is though there's a reason why a lot of these younger people who are on media, they only last 3 or 4 years, because after a while you can only steal so fucking much. You know what I mean?
Right.
Your bag is full now.
Right.
Everybody's seen all your tricks. So when it comes time for people to innovate and they got to do new shit, they're fresh out, right?
Yeah. Right.
And I think for us, like we've been able to expand outside of just YouTube because of all the skills that we developed, right? And it's to their credit, like I'll catch myself sometimes too, like for example, like reaction videos, right? It's funny that you mentioned that because there was a point where I was like, you should just do reaction videos. Motherfucker, your channel's dying. Get to it, do it. Throw some fucking pies in your face, prank people, do some shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
And because it does start to hit you a little bit.
Yeah, it makes you feel a way when you put out something that you work hard on and it doesn't get as much as it should, as you think it should. You're just like, what am I doing this for? Because at the end of the day, even if it wasn't for the money, I at least was doing it for the people's reaction and the love that I got. Yeah. But now I'm barely getting that, and the money still sucks. So it's like you kind of question yourself, but then that's when you kind of got to dig deeper and be like, what is this? What am I one day hope that 10 years from now, someone's going to watch this and hopefully it makes them do something great.
I really do believe that a lot of the stuff that you guys were doing was way before its time. Like you guys were innovators, right? So a lot of the shit that I see now, and I'm like, that's some old ass Dormtainment shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Believe me, we say it too.
Like we've accepted that shit.
Yeah.
We've accepted it's kind of like what we wanted to do in a way. It was our mission without even knowing that's what we were doing.
Yeah.
Because we always used to stress that like, we just do it ourselves. Like we don't have to wait on nobody. And we would say it to our fans, not knowing that, oh, they're hearing it. And probably there's people out there watching now who's doing Instagram and stuff now that probably heard that and was like, shoot, okay.
And don't get it twisted. We still want to be the greatest fucking comedy group out here. But at the same time, to inspire others, I mean, that's amazing. Like it's
an amazing feat.
That's an amazing feat. Like I want to see people. I want to see whatever genre we're in, whatever our craft is, comedy. So I want to elevate that as much as we can.
And that's some shit though. Is like sometimes I'll go out to these shows and I see, I'll meet a couple of like newer YouTubers and media people, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, "Yo, man, you inspired me when I was younger." I'm like, "Cool, let me get $1,000 then, motherfucker." It's like if you make
all this free goddamn content. Yeah, you make 20 million.
Right. You stupid son of a bitch. Give me something, dude. I'm over here dying. I'm over here trying to create good art and shit. And then you have your watered down version of my shit and it does so much better. Yeah. But that just goes to show, like, also too, in this platform, you really do have to learn how to evolve. Yeah. Because I know other people who put their heart into their art, but they just didn't evolve with the times. And then they're wondering, like for example, this is the best example I'll give out. It's YouTube musicians. When YouTube first started, anybody could have been a musician.
Yeah,
you go back to some of these covers that they're doing. They are arguably terrible singers, but they have 2 million, 10 million views. And so they expected that type of success. But guess what happens? You singing on a platform without A&Rs, without all this other shit, inspired other people to do it that were way better than you. Yep. And so there was real musicians that came out, and now they're trying to do their same bullshit, and they're like, well, I'm not getting the views. It's because you're actually finding out you actually weren't that good.
Yeah, competition has stepped up.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Where you like once the industry found out, oh, this is what the power of YouTube or the power of social media can do. Everyone's gonna turn an eye here, and you're gonna get better people. So it's up to you whether you want to get better and push yourself, or you're just gonna stay there and just you're gonna fall by the wayside.
Yeah, competition is fierce now.
Yeah,
like music. I've seen like some of these cats where, damn, like for example, think about this. Justin Bieber was a YouTuber, man.
Yeah,
he
crazy,
was a
right?
fucking YouTuber.
Crazy. Issa Rae, Donald Glover. Fucking like these people, they made it to the top.
Man, Issa Rae's trajectory is fucking crazy,
yo.
Man. Like you talking about, can I get $1,000?
Every time we see her, that's what he's like. Yeah. Can we get a couple?
Remember that one time we met each other, Issa, at fucking that sandwich shop? Like I remember that day like it was yesterday, and I should have fucking planted my seed on you like you were fucking Oprah, dude. I should have done something. But just watching, she's amazing, man. Like just watching how successful she is, and albeit like I gotta say, man, she's. Everything she has, she deserves too. Because she was one of those people that I saw that I was really, really rooting for. And then when she popped off, I was like, yeah, no shit.
Right.
Just like you, very authentic, just
Stay
real
true to
cool.
her, who they
you know
were.
what I'm saying? Like she's been the same since we've met her. You know what I'm saying? The relationship we've had with her, like she popped off around the same time we started, right?
No.
Awkward Black Girl. I remember. I guess 2000.
No. We were
maybe 2 years later.
We were already kind of like deep into YouTube world, maybe 200,000 subs, dropping videos, and then
really?
we just are hearing about this awkward Black girl. I think one of the guys in the group,
Cam,
brought it to us, and at the time I think she was getting like 100,000 views on each episode, and then we just kind of like
we hit her up too, and she said she liked our videos as well, and then we just kind of kept the relationship up.
That's when sometimes it's good to be I guess I can't find the proper word, but to approach someone first, because a lot of times I feel like we all like, oh, I'm not gonna say nothing because they should say something to me or kind of in a way, but it's just like that. It was just no humility. It was just like, yo, we're fans, and then it ended up being she was fans, and I felt like that was one of the best things we've ever done. just that relationship and just being open and free and just being able to say we're fans, not even knowing if she knew us or not. Yeah, but just showing her love, and then I just feel like that was a good lesson to carry on. I always like show love to people.
Do you feel like every industry is like that?
Like, people will sit back and just watch you and knowing they could kind of help. They could probably help your situation, but like when we were talking about earlier, if you don't ask for something, you won't necessarily know what you can get.
Not even ask, but just like the people in your industry, like sometimes, I'm sure if you go to some like shoppers industry and it's like, Ralph's in there and Food for Less, I feel like they're not talking to each other either. They probably got their arms folded, but I feel like with us, we're able to work together. We can do videos together. And away from that, we just need to appreciate each other more. You know what I'm saying? Just show love towards other YouTubers, show love towards other creators. It's not even a competition, honestly. We're not competing against each other.
A lot of successful YouTubers definitely they cross platforms a lot, right? So they work with other people and they try to spread out that way. I definitely did not do that. Like I was just like, I fucking hate you, get the fuck away from me. You know what I mean? But it was one of those things that I think was hard for me. Like I just we mentioned this. I just didn't fuck with their shit. So it was hard. But if I did fuck with them, I definitely would reach out. I was let's work on something together, or I'll just be in something that you do. Right. For example, somebody else that did really great was fucking Batch. Right? Yeah. Because I remember, well, first of all, I'm gonna tell y'all this motherfucking story. Batch, I'm pretty sure you're not listening to this because you're way above me now, you piece of fucking shit. But Batch was fucking funny. So when I first met him, what's his name? Wes Good. Right? So he was supposed to be in my sketch, and he said, yo, there's this young cat named Batch, Andrew Batchelor. You should work with him. And so he would replace that role for Wes. And so when I was working on with this small little sketch, and it was with my buddy Josh, me and Josh looked at each other and were like, damn, this motherfucker's way better than us. I was like, oh shit.
He's a great actor, yo.
Yeah, I was like, damn, he's fucking good, dude. Like, and I remember telling Josh, I was like, this dude is gonna be some fucking big shit out here. Because I could tell he was just hustling and working hard. He didn't give a fuck. Right. And then when we started working together, I was so surprised how he started to develop his own group and his network. Because he started popping off on the Vine thing. And so we did this sketch.
I remember even before that, he did something with Shaq.
No, he was on YouTube. He was on YouTube heavy. Like he was dropping skits, and the quality was actually high for that time.
No, but that's the thing. I think it was like he did something with Shaq that was like a comedy series.
Yeah, it was
like
the same time when all those people, YouTube was giving money to all these celebrities to start channels. Dormtainment.
Right. And I
And-
remember his stuff was high quality.
I thought this fool was dealing drugs or some shit because I was like, where the fuck are you getting money for this hot?
Right.
You're a nobody. Like, where the fuck is this money?
Yeah.
I thought he was just rich as fuck. I was
Yeah.
like, all right, do
I
your
bet
thing,
you.
bro.
You know what the shitty thing is like with people who, this is the hater in me. I'm like, with somebody I really like to, and I'm like, God, I'm trying to find something wrong about you.
Oh yeah.
Like,
You
yo,
just
God,
start
because
hating.
God is fair. You know what I mean? So what
is
the
fair.
fuck is Batch's thing,
You
right?
got a small dick. I bet you got a small dick.
I bet you that shit is fucking the size of this mic, dude. That shit is huge. And I'm like,
the biggest dick.
yeah, and I'm like looking for something wrong because the dude was super nice, super humble,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure he has his flaws. I don't know what they are yet, but
Yeah.
one thing though I will say about this motherfucker lied to me about his age when I first met him. So when I first met him, he told me that he was like 3 or 4 years younger than me, right? And then lo and behold, I forgot what we were looking at, but he was on a pitch deck that I was on, and his age popped up, and he's like my age. I was like, you stupid son of a
Hilarious.
bitch. So he did the LA thing when he first moved here, and he lied
Yeah.
about his age. And I was like, why the fuck would you do that?
Yeah, that boat I can't jump on.
Somebody
but-
told me to do that. I think my ex told me to do that. She was like, "You guys should say you're young." I'm like, "No, I'm good."
Yeah.
I don't
That's
care.
dumb as shit,
I don't
man.
care.
Yeah.
I
But-
mean, I see why people do it because I guess it appeals to younger people and but I want people who need to know me. Like,
Yeah.
I don't need to appeal to people who aren't in my category
that's
of
just
thinking.
so feminine. I don't know, man. Like, I just don't fuck with that. We know some girls that have done that though. Like,
it's
that
more
are
just-
doing that.
yeah.
kind of
I
shit.
understand when a girl does it just because of like
Yeah.
that societal pressure, like
Exactly.
once you reach
Right.
a certain age,
Right.
you're too old or whatever type of shit. But
Hence, that's why I say it's effeminate. But
Yeah.
But even that whole thing is just like embrace the age, man. Like,
Who
especially
fuck
nowadays, like we all looking good and better. It's just,
to me, all that matters is your content.
Yeah.
All
Right.
that, like, are you good at your craft? Like, are you trying to push the limits here? Are you trying to get better? Like, that's all
I get sad when
I
people-
appreciate you more for that.
yeah, like I get sad when people don't understand that they're gonna age. Like that shit's inevitable.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Like that's a fucking
it's a
scientific
blessing.
fact. Yeah.
It's a blessing to age. People die at 20. People die at
Yeah.
teenagers,
Right,
man.
right.
Like
Real talk.
every day, every year, you should be like, man, I'm getting older. Woo.
And I'm still fucking here.
Right.
You know, because I mean, how hard is it for us to see like a lady out in fucking like Fairfax without her lips done, her fucking cheeks done,
Jesus
Botox,
Christ.
and I'm like, fuck, I don't even remember what a normal human being looks like anymore. Like what
Exactly.
what the fuck is with this concept where beauty is a set certain way?
Right.
They look like aliens that I would still fuck, but I'm just it's
Yeah, but
you know,
it's
it looks
alien.
weird.
I would
It's
hate
weird.
myself after that's all. Right. Yeah, but I see it a lot, like, you know, especially with some of my friends, even like specifically here in LA.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I think because when we're on social media, all we can think about is how we look and we are perceived
Man.
to others.
I think even nowadays, I was thinking about that. Like, it's just, even in music, you got to be, I feel like you have to be beautiful to sell. I feel like you beautiful or you got to like have the flyest like attire.
Or you just got to
clothes,
be
drip.
weird as fuck.
Or weird as fuck. Like
Yeah.
you gotta
Fuck,
you
yeah.
gotta be the latter something. You can't just be a regular
like
guy.
Post Malone ugly type of shit. You know what I mean?
Right. You gotta be super
Yeah.
super ugly or like the cutest person. And I'm just like, damn, there's no in between right now. It's just like people just want to see the best of the best. And I feel like they got mad options on the gram to look at.
Because you're doing music right now.
yeah.
Yeah. So what made you, I mean, you guys have always been doing music.
Right,
But
right.
you're actually
Long
doing
time.
music now.
I guess just call it that because
That's music. It's not based on the comedy album shit. It's
Right.
like
No, it's
music.
legit music.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
good too.
And it's a discovering process every freaking day, man. And I try not to take it sick. I was even listening. We were listening to y'all on the way here, and I was just like, I don't want to take myself too sick. I heard Timothy say something about like, just like he just likes things where people just are just naturally themselves. He's not taking it too serious, and I don't want to like, oh, I'm studying music. Like I actually love to do it and just like to create, but it's a learning process, man. Every time I work with another artist, I'm like, damn, I got a long way to go.
Yeah.
Like the other day, this guy came through and his voice was just like, I don't even know how to explain it, but his singing voice was so on top.
Yeah.
And I was just like, damn, I know it took him a while to find that. Cause it's like, it was so unique to him. No one else sounds like that. And I'm just like, I'm infatuated now with just finding that uniqueness in my own voice.
That's the hardest part.
Yes.
Yeah. No, go ahead, my bad, bro.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say he used to annoy the fuck out of us too.
Yeah.
Singing, bro.
Yeah.
Like
Terrible.
all day
Terrible.
and night. But that's why we could be a testament to him getting better. That's why we
That's
could be a
fucking
testament
funny.
to him getting better, because there
terrible.
was nights we were like, "Hey, yo, Mike,
Yeah, I
shut
would get
the
texts.
fuck up."
It would be like 2 a.m. My phone would go up. I just knew what it was already.
You don't even got to respond to the text.
Right. I would just see it and just turn
Yeah.
off the music and just
Your
go to
voice
bed
gets
and be
lower.
like,
that's fucking funny.
But yeah, it's a learning process, and it's been one of my most humbling experiences, honestly, man. Like I listen back to old stuff and be like, ooh, like
Yo, I thought he was gonna say something mad positive, dude. That shit was fucking funny as hell.
No, that's it.
it was real. That's real.
No, but it is a testament to him getting better, man. Like we seen. I used to tell this man he tone deaf all the time.
People would
Like,
tell me
bro,
that
you tone deaf.
people told me
You
that
tone
all
deaf.
the time, and even now I'm starting to understand what they meant. I didn't understand what that meant. Like, what do you mean? Like, I'm singing. Like, what the fuck?
Right.
Fucking mean tone deaf. I'm singing, man. Relax. Like,
Oh, shit.
And then like
Wait, what do you mean?
the past year and a half, I'm like, oh, that's what tone deaf means. Like, okay, like, I gotta be a key. I gotta
Like
sound
you like recorded yourself and like, yo, somebody tell this motherfucker to shut up. It's like,
Yo, the
that-
first time
Mike,
I
that's
recorded
you.
myself, I was so frustrated. Like when I decided to get the equipment and actually sit down and record and produce myself, the first day I stopped and was like, okay, maybe I shouldn't do this. Because it didn't sound like how I thought I sounded.
Oh, for sure.
So hearing myself on the mic, I was like, there's my voice right there. It was almost like adjusting. It's just self-adjusting all the time.
Well, you know, recording yourself in a booth is fucking difficult.
Yeah.
Like singing specifically, because
Yeah.
you could hear how flat, how pitchy you are
Everything.
right then and there. And so every time we sing, we always think that we're on key, but we're always slightly a little off. And so when you're in the booth and you're hearing the music and all the instruments with it, you could actually hear every note that you're fucking on. So people don't understand that when you sing in a booth, it's way different from when you do something live.
Yeah.
So when you do something live, and if you're a great live musician, it's fantastic. But then also you have like the acoustics, the reverb to kind of cover up a lot of these
Yeah.
mistakes.
I sound great. I sound way better live. I performed my song Brown Skin the other day at this spot, and my homegirl was like, wow, I love it live. I was like, yeah, it's a lot going on to cover it up.
Distractions going
It's so
on.
funny. I love it live.
That's just what she said. I took it for what it was. I was like, I understand what you're saying.
Well, this is unique though, because both of you do music and
Yeah.
you do comedy.
Yeah.
What do you love more?
You know, I actually only wanted to be a musician originally.
okay.
And then I just found out I'm a goofy looking motherfucker. So I was like, hold on a second. Like maybe I should redo this. Because I remember Ruben Studdard started off his shit. His shit
Yeah.
tanked. So I was like,
Wait, what do you mean?
Because he was a fucking big ass dude.
Yeah.
And I was a big ass boy too. I was like, I'm going to learn from his lessons. And maybe switch to comedy and see how that works out.
Ruben Studdard was your spirit animal.
Duh, let me tell you something. When that music video came out, what's it called?
Sorry for 2004.
Yeah, and this
That's my
motherfucker
song.
dunked
Sorry
in.
for 2004.
This is
That's what
my sorry for
Yeah.
2004.
Oh yeah, but that was the name of the song.
Yeah.
I think so.
Sorry for 2004.
Or maybe just sorry, but I think it was
I
sorry
hope
for
it's
2000.
just sorry. 'Cause
There was a scene in that music video where this motherfucker was in a hot tub, and I was like, this fool displaced all the water
Hilarious.
in
That's
that motherfucking shit, dude.
You gotta know your Ruben Studdard. You gotta know that's not your scene. That's not what you do.
I was like, oh shit, this might not be my shit, but
No, that's hilarious.
it was difficult because comedy, you're just allowed to be funny, and that's really about it. It didn't matter what you looked like. You didn't have to have any like a certain
Yeah.
swag or whatever. You just had to be fucking
Yep.
funny.
Yep, that's all
You know,
that
with
mattered.
music, it was difficult because there was just so much. I don't know. Like I had to think about how I dressed, how I looked, how I act, how I behaved. The live performance aspect was exhausting, making sure everything sounded right. With comedy, I could just grab a mic, and even if it was a little fucked up, as long as the jokes went over, it was good.
Yeah.
And so I think at the time when I was trying to do stand up, that feeling of grabbing a mic and making somebody laugh made me feel good.
Yeah.
You know, and I felt like the praise that I got for singing well was more towards me, and it wasn't this thing where I got to put that energy back, right? It didn't feel that way, but that's what music does too. But for me, it just didn't. And so
Yeah.
I decided to leave that alone and really focus on one thing because I had this issue of trying to do everything. And I call it like being a jack of all shits. You know what I mean? So
Same
you
way,
understand what
same
that's
way.
like.
Yeah.
So what happens is when we split ourselves into
What happens when a Jamaican guy and an Asian guy comes in the room?
They do everything.
You'll have the nicest room in the goddamn cleanest fucking.
basically what happens is you'll have a half-made sandwich, you'll have like everything half done.
Some jerk chicken.
Yeah, everything we have done.
So that was the problem. So I said, hey, you know what? You need to cut this shit out and just focus on one thing for now and then come back to it. And so now I feel like I've done comedy for so long. I was like, okay, well, let me just try to find my sound. And I found out I don't have a sound. I was like, fuck.
What do you mean?
You singing or rapping? You
singing.
Okay.
What do you mean you don't have a sound?
So because every time I did music, I kind of sang on other people's tracks.
Okay.
So, and it was just fun for me.
Yeah.
But then when I had to sit down and say, okay, even when I do covers, right? So I did a cover of Summer Walker's Girls Need Love Too, right?
Yeah,
And-
we were listening.
and so I sat there and I was like, okay, so what's my voice?
Yeah.
You know, how am I supposed to sing this
Yeah.
without somebody telling me, hey, I need you to sing it like this?
Yeah.
And then when I was on the mic, I was like, oh shit, this is hard. Like, this is fucking hard. I actually never figured out what my quote unquote sound is. Like, what's my vibe? What's the tone of my voice? How do I want to sing this shit? Because every time I did it, it was based on what somebody else wanted me to do, which was fucking fun. And I learned a lot from it. But now that I have to invoke my style into something, it's like,
it's a totally different thing. It's like you're not paired, you're not copying. What's the original you? What's the one time I was recording with one of my friends who does music, and she brought one of our records to somebody else, and I think I was on the hook and I had a verse, and the person said, "Who are those artists? Who are those three guys?" She was like, "That's one guy."
Yeah.
And he told her, he's like, he needs to find a solid sound to identify with. And at first I was like, but I want to do everything. Like, I want to be the guy that does all this. But when you hear a record and you hear someone's voice, it just resonates right away when you say, oh, that's Cardi B. Oh,
Yep.
that's so-and-so. It's just like, it's part of the brand.
yeah.
So you kind of have to, identify with something.
Exactly.
That everyone can be like, oh, yeah.
That's the hard part. Like, even when we do comedy, right? It's like
even that.
We got to make sure that we stick to what we know really well,
Yeah.
and we fucking kill it. Because
Yeah.
sometimes, like, when we look at other people's stuff and we see it pop off, we
try to
trying
do
to
that
imitate.
a little bit.
Try to
We were
imitate.
just talking about that because we were saying, like, when we go into these pitch meetings, what are we saying to these people besides just what we want to pitch them? Are we showing them, are we telling them kind of what we believe in comedy? What are our beliefs in comedy? What is our style? And I feel like it's more than just saying, hey, this is our show, this is who we are. We got to kind of say, this is what we believe and this is how we approach comedy and this is our style. This is our voice in a way.
Yeah.
Our
We
key.
were literally talking about like what are we trying to leave behind? Because we've done skits. When we started doing skits, it's for fun. It's just to like, let's try to do something cool. Let's see. But then it came to a place, let's get good at this. Let's actually take this as a craft and take it as serious as possible. And fuck, I'm a little high. What the fuck were we talking about just now?
It happens all the time because I'm finding your voice, key.
Yeah, finding your voice. So even like in a show, we just started a new show called Room Noise.
Yeah.
Where we get to basically pick a topic, we just wrote the new intro to it. We gotta go over it. But pick a topic.
By the way, that shit looks hard as fuck, by the way. Like, I watch all the episodes and I'm like,
Bro, you gotta come on there.
that shit looks so fucking difficult.
You gotta come on there. But this is the thing with that show is that I feel like we're in a place where you don't feel the pressure of, trying to sing a certain way. Let's just go in there and have fun. And I feel like that's created room for people to find their voice a little better. Because you get to experiment freely a little more. There's no judgments. We're all comedians and we're all having fun, but we're gonna try to do this to a high level. But let's just have fun on it. So that's why I think it's cool for people to just come on, just let that free voice.
And it kind of shows the pressure, the pressure is relieved because that's how we create. It's like, I don't have to necessarily do as much heavy lifting because this guy's going to sing the hook. This guy's probably going to come with something good. And all I got to do is kind of just like come in real quick or, it's just like you feel less pressure. And that's kind of how we create anyway.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I know when we come into this meeting or this brainstorming session, someone's going to have something to fuel this little idea I have, and then we'll come up with something greater. So I feel like that's what we're showing too in the process. It's like, and anyone who comes on, like when you come on, you'll see it's just like, oh shit, I fit in right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that shit look difficult as fuck. And I'm like, you guys are fucking, I don't know what the fuck.
I ain't gonna lie, well, I be nervous making the beat sometimes because I'm like, I don't know if they feeling this, I can't see. And then I look back and I see a head bob, like, oh. And then sometimes, they'll be like, can we switch up the beat? I'm like, oh. Okay. I guess how we're
It's
feeling
like, hey,
it.
Mike, remember those nights we used to sing at night and how much it sucked? That's the beat too. So now switch that shit up. You just get a text. All you see is a text.
I'm like,
Okay,
you
I
guys
know
can
what's
just
up.
tell me.
I'm right here, motherfucker.
That's hilarious. But I remember what I was gonna say now,
Yeah.
going to our skits, is that we're looking for that philosophy. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is our philosophy when we approach comedy? You know, and we kind of just came up with the thing that is we're analyzing. We're basically holding a reflection up to the world. You know,
Yeah.
it's very self-reflective. Whatever's going on and we show the ridiculousness in it. You
We
know
think
what I mean?
we think a lot of things are ridiculous, and as a whole, I was asking him like, what makes us do a skit about that? What makes us stop our day and say, I'm gonna stop everything I'm doing and write something, go shoot it, go edit it, and pretty much take up a whole week of our lives?
Yeah.
What encourages us to do that? And it's because we feel so strongly about how ridiculous this topic is that we have to say our point somehow.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's how we do it. So I feel like as a collective, that's our one thing in common is like we all kind of find all these things ridiculous together. So it's just like, all right, let's come together and make something about this. And
And you know, that's like the cool thing about you guys is how your creative process works, because there's a lot of people in this fucking group, and it's this weird balance of when I watch what you guys do. It's everybody has a very unique voice, which is one of the biggest reasons why I think I liked your guys' comedy group the best, is because none of you are the same. Everybody's comedy is different in a sketch. The way you guys act, the way you speak, because a lot of the times when I see people come together, they all just kind of reflect each other.
Right.
It's the same
It
shit.
blends. They just all blend together.
Everybody's comedy was so different. So whenever I watched the sketch, it was new, because sometimes it would highlight you.
Yeah.
You would be highlighted, or
Yeah.
somebody would be highlighted.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is fucking dope. So it was always fresh for me to watch people who just kind of still stuck to the guns, but still had a group mentality with
Yeah.
it. And that's fucking difficult.
Yeah. No, I think that's from honestly us just living like. A lot of people feel like, you know, they'll ask us, oh, you know, how can I start a group? Like, it was so organic. We were all friends. Like, two of the guys are brothers.
That's right.
And one of the brothers, Cam and Mike, grew up together since 6th grade. The rest of
Oh,
us
shit.
met in college, you know, and we... You know, I know for the most part, when I look at my group, we are loyal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're loyal to each other. We want to see the best for each other. We'll keep it real with each other. But when you're in a group, you got to learn to let go of that ego.
Ooh,
You
yes.
know, you have to learn to let go of that ego.
Man.
That ego can be a killer. And sometimes if you feel, and that ego can pop up in many different
Yeah.
ways, even if it's just an idea you have,
Yeah.
you know, and everybody else doesn't fuck with it. You got to eat that.
Yeah.
You got to just like, okay, it's not working now, but let me, and not only just sit there and get mad or you know, not contribute. You got to also contribute
Right.
too. You
Still
got to
keep
also,
going.
keep going. Okay, that didn't work. Let me try to shoot out this one and just let go of it. And you know, you got to trust. We built that trust to where, yo, I know this dude is funny. I trust in his comedy. I know this guy's fun. I know what he brings. Everybody brings this, and it makes it easier with writing. It makes it easier, you know, when acting. When I'm, you know, I usually direct most of our stuff. So when I'm directing, it's so the communications. It's not going to be the same if we just had anybody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We know how to articulate with each other. So
like even when we were doing, we shot a Cops parody where we were arresting hot girls, and we were filming in the car, and Rome was on camera, and like just the stuff we were telling, like you were telling Rome, like you know, like take the high pitch out your voice, put some more bass in your voice, because you know when you act on camera, sometimes your voice changes and stuff like that. So it's just like stuff like that we could check with each
that
other.
YouTuber can creep out. Hey, like, you know, you got to scale that shit back. You're like, hey, it's not that. It's not that. Let's bring it down.
That's so fucking funny, man.
Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back.
But the thing is, even with them, and you brought this up earlier, working with YouTubers that maybe you know, or not working with YouTubers you don't like or whatever. Like, I think it's what I've also found is that it makes you better to work with them.
Yeah.
It actually makes you better to work with people that maybe you're not the biggest fan of, but if you recognize their talent, or if anytime you can work them in some way, and it almost becomes, I almost take it on as a personal responsibility to like, I want them
to do the best thing with us. Yeah.
I want this thing that they're in to be the best thing they've done to inspire them to do more.
Right.
Great.
Damn,
you know what I
a
mean?
grown ass man, dog.
That's
I was thinking the exact opposite. in my mind, I'm just like, man, if I see this motherfucker, I'm gonna slap the fucking shit out of him, man. Like, I don't know what it is. It's so funny because like I have like these old tendencies of when I was younger, right? Because I grew up in a not that great of a neighborhood, right?
Right.
And that was everybody's fucking attitude. And mind you, like I was a dweeb, but because I grew up in a bad neighborhood, I always had to pretend all the time just so I wouldn't get robbed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then now I just realized as an adult, like these type of behaviors are seeped into my fucking personality. So it's like there'll be like these like Asian group stuff, right? Where a lot of these Asian YouTubers get together and they're nice people. And people, like I always want to tell people is just because I don't like your stuff doesn't mean that I don't like you.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
it's like I might like you as a person, but I just don't fuck with your shit.
Right.
And so sometimes I feel like because of the way my friends are and the way that I grew up, we're very harsh and we don't take things personal.
Yeah.
Like one of the most refreshing things that I've been around recently was actually Joke Me Off, that show that I'm going to be on, because everybody was ripping into each other and everybody was laughing. And I haven't experienced that in a very long time.
Yeah.
Because when I grew up, like mind you, if I'm the Asian dude in the group and there's fucking 8 black dudes, I'm gonna get clowned on
ripped apart
all the time. So I had to be quick, real fucking fast. And so when I first moved to LA, when people would lightweight clown on each other, I would just kind of be like whatever about it. And I'm like, cool. So I get to rip back into them. But then I guess the level of insults that I would do would be too much for them, and they would feel a certain type of way. But that's just not how I grew up. I grew up. If you say some shit, it's a free for all. Right. So even now, like within like certain groups that I have right now, they'll say a joke and people are laughing, right? And I'm like, I could say something way worse, but you wouldn't be able to take what I say. So it's like now I'm just like, okay, well now for me, I have to learn how to control this type of attitude I had growing up. You know? And so when I do that, when I'm coming around a group and I'm like, oh, I could probably use him in this thing, the only thing I'm thinking about is, you stupid bitch, I would slap the shit out. You know?
No, I feel that though. I understand where that comes from because same situation growing up. You know what I mean? Not the richest neighborhoods or whatever. But you know, like even when we came out here, I think we had a very militant mindset. It was like, yo, we coming out here and we not to be fucked with. We got to stick together strong. Don't let anybody rip this apart. You know, let's go hard.
Because people literally told us before we came we were breaking up.
God damn.
Yeah. There's like, 5, 6 of y'all. Oh, y'all breaking up. And like, as soon as y'all come out here, y'all gonna break up. So we were like on a mission to like prove everybody wrong.
And then you feed into, and then you hear, you know, the Hollywood stereotypes, of course, you know, that these fake ass Hollywood people, blah, 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 blah. You know, the industry, you know, rip you apart, chew you out, rip you apart, something
chew
like
you up, spit you out.
Chew you out, spit you out.
I think that's how you eat food or some shit like that.
Right. I'm just hungry. So we came out here with a very militant mindset, but it wasn't until after time it was like, yo, this isn't helping anybody. This isn't really contribute. We're putting ourselves on an island. You know what I mean? Instead of, you know, being a part of this community and giving back and seeing the benefits. Because there's nothing but benefits that can happen from this. So maybe some people could piss you off or whatever, but I don't pay attention enough to that shit anyway. So
yeah, and I think that's the right attitude to have. You know, my attitude
just
is
like
fucking.
Fuck it.
My
but
attitude
I appreciate
is fucking
that too,
terrible.
because at least it's authentic and you know it. You know what I'm saying? You're honest with it.
I think that's what people understand about me too. It's like if I fuck with somebody, I fuck with them hard to the day I fucking die. You know what I mean? But if I hate you, I will hate you to the day I fucking die. But I really don't dislike that many people. I say there's like maybe like 2% of people that I meet that are like that. But if I dislike somebody, it's very, very fucking apparent.
Is it the sign shit? I don't know. I don't know if I believe in signs, but
it's not sign shit. It's just how somebody, they're fucking Chauncey ass motherfucker. That's what it is. Like, fucking, you know what I mean? Because there's like cats that I always give shit to, and they're not really like terrible human beings, but it's just who they are, how they behave, what they talk about. They're in the YouTube space too, and it's funny because one of my friends too met up with them and they asked straight up, they go, yo, why does David hate me so much? Because why does David hate me? And how he explained to him was like, it's not that he hates you. Like he honestly doesn't think about you. He just doesn't fuck with you. Like everything you do is just, it's not who he is as a person. So, and it's like, you got to stop talking about it because the more you talk about it, the more funny it is to him. So it just, like, he goes, you have to understand, like David finds everything hilarious. So the more you think about it, the more he's going to make fun of it because of how much it affects you.
That's
So
hilarious.
It's probably just like you that much though.
that's the part where I feel bad now. You know, it's like
Yeah.
I was like, God, fuck, maybe this person really does fuck with me, but I just hate their guts. You know, and because I actually met this person back in the day when we first started doing YouTube, and he said something to me that irritated the fuck out of me because I saw his content and I thought it was hot garbage. Still think it is today, and. You know, he was like, yo, you and I, we're the same person. I was like, okay, now I hate this guy.
Okay. So that was what did it though.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
See, that's coming out of love. He loves you. He literally loves you. He's telling you, I love you. And you're like,
And then he comes to me, why does he hate me?
he loves you.
But it's so funny because it's not even me that just feels this. There's like, I can name like 30 people that hate this motherfucker's guts. And he doesn't realize like how off-putting he is as a human being.
I feel like I know who you're talking about.
It's like a person that has stank breath, but just, you just don't like, they don't know it. You know what I mean?
So
like,
I only talk about him when I want to joke about him a lot, you know, just because he always comes up in conversation. And how he comes up in conversation is by somebody telling me something bad about him. So it just keeps
Jesus
building
Christ.
this bad image of him where I'm just like, whatever, he's good, right? And then somebody will come and say, hey, do you know this guy? I'm like, what happened now? And they tell me this terrible story. I'm like, how many people can you piss off?
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, and it's when I look at the scope of this human being, oh God, I really wish I could say his name.
Scope of this human.
It's like he's doing things in his mind that he thinks is okay, but it's not. So he's socially fucked, right? So how he uses people and he doesn't understand that.
Yeah.
How he always has an agenda when he talks to somebody. It's just very obnoxious, right?
I feel like I know exactly who you're talking about.
You probably don't, but I'm kind of curious who you.
I want to know who he's talking about, but we'll find
We'll talk about that after the podcast.
Can I text it to you? Just say yes.
This is funny.
I'm
Text
writing
it
on
to
my
him.
phone. I'm writing on my phone. And just
Put me
say
in the
yes.
thread.
No, I'm just gonna write it.
I want to see this shit.
They can't see me, right?
No, they cannot. But this is. I feel like I'm in high school. This shit's tight. Text me that shit.
All right, I'm gonna text.
I'm so curious. But yeah, when sometimes you just don't fuck with people, you just don't really fuck with them,
Should
man.
pull out a flip phone right now.
Oh, that shit would. The fucking Motorola Razor and shit.
Oh
like,
my god.
Oh man, I wish, man. Yeah, but that's like one of those life lessons that I really do appreciate. I think a lot of people should learn from. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
no, but he is one of them. Though.
Okay.
Oh well, it's. Yeah, I got stories, man. I would say this, but I cannot. But only because
let us know.
it's petty to mention the story on this space because it's none of everybody else's business.
Yeah.
But I got stories. But
Yes.
But I'm definitely learning to just really start just putting my fucking terrible sensibilities aside and just work with people because they do have talent. Right?
Yeah.
Just because you don't like what they do per se. Like here's a great example. People who create different content I always work with because I like them as people is this group called Wong Fu. Like,
I'm subscribed to them.
right?
Yeah.
So like them, like their content is way different from mine. So fucking different. And albeit like my shit's I consider theirs like very nice, clean cut, and my shit's fucking trash. And so
It's beautiful trash.
yeah, so when I go on their platform, I understand like, yo, I don't really like a lot of their stuff because it's not who I am as a person, but because I like them and the stuff that they're doing and the message that they're portraying, especially for me as like Asian American filmmakers, I'm just gonna fuck with everything that they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like a lot of their stuff.
Yeah.
Just because I'm not into like rom-com shit,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
And to me, when I look at their stuff, I'm like, this is just fucking corny. But at the same time, I appreciate who they are as people, and I like what
Support
they
them
do.
people.
So no matter what, if they post a movie, a film, they ask me to be in something, I'm gonna do it because I like them as a person and what they're doing.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I think,
it's about
and
that.
I'm sure they appreciate that much more than
Yeah, for sure. And you know, I'm pretty sure they know this. But when I first came out, I saw their stuff. I was like, that shit fucking whack. You know what I mean? And
I think we were in like one of their one of these viral videos where we held some like
God,
Asian,
that's what
like
that was?
some anime puppet dolls or some shit. It was like a one-shot music video thing.
yeah.
It was cool though. I mean, it was cool.
Oh, yeah.
Like it was a creative set piece.
that was
thing,
them using their diversity cards. Like, we need to get
Yeah,
one
yeah,
black
we need-
person in here. If you want,
They got 6 at the time.
Right.
yo, you want to talk about a group of Asian people that don't know a single black person?
That's hilarious, yo.
Hilarious.
It's funny because we'll see. There's like certain Asian YouTubers you could tell they only kicked it with Asian people their whole fucking life.
Yeah.
So when it comes to anything black topic wise, they need to get a black person in a video. They're fucking fresh out.
I don't know who.
Yeah, and they would find the most light skinned black person I've ever seen in my
That's
life.
hilarious.
And I'm
I
like,
would think that's easy. I guess.
I don't know, man. Sometimes we have a problem finding white people.
I know.
It's just like,
and you would think that's easy, right?
Right, exactly. Of course. Just
That was hard.
walk outside.
A buddy of mine hit me up for this film project that he has. He goes, I need a funny white person to be in the sketch. I was like, I got you. Went through my phone. Not a single white person. I was like, oh shit, I don't know white people. And I had one guy and he couldn't use him. So it was like, oh shit. Like,
Do you feel bad about that? Because I kind of sometimes feel like I don't have enough white people.
I feel like that's why sometimes I'm not hungry.
See, but I have business side white people, sure, but just even white people as friends. You know,
That's what I'm saying, though. I mean, you got to be friends with them to get money with them.
I guess.
yeah, I mean,
Be a little bit.
it's weird. I think it's just some shit that we didn't really grow up with. So
Yeah.
I didn't grow up around a lot of white people. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to have a lot of white people friends. And also, too, like when I went to college, that was actually hard for me because that was Sacramento does have a lot of white people. Just where I grew up, there just wasn't a lot of white people.
Yeah.
So there was the hardest thing was when I went to college for the first time. I was like, damn, I don't understand white people humor at all. It's different.
Mm-hmm.
It's
It is.
fucking different.
It's slower sometimes. Like just
Yeah, and it's very there's a lot of dry sarcasm and shit, and I just couldn't pick up on it.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes the stuff that I would say would come off as really crass and rude because it was the clowning nature that I grew up in, right? And I just couldn't really vibe with it at all.
Did you ever watch any white TV shows growing up?
Yeah, I watched,
in terms of like comedies.
I watched comedies. Oh shit, like King of Queens.
Yeah.
Okay, shit
You know,
like that.
I watched Friends later on.
Okay.
And so I think watching those shows, and the reason why I started watching those shows was number one, Friends was just really popular, and I started really liking it when I was like 18. And then King of Queens was because I saw Kevin James's stand up, and then I wanted to watch a show, and his show is just his stand up.
Yeah, essentially.
So that was my interest, but he's still a comic though. He's not like the typical white American,
Yeah.
you know. And
But Roseanne, have you ever seen her?
oh, Roseanne was fucking funny.
Roseanne
though.
was a game changer to me.
Oh, for
because,
sure.
I mean, I feel like most black people say this, but I didn't know like poor white people like that too much
Oh,
in
yeah,
my
yeah, yeah.
neighborhood. So like I just saw, you know, so when I saw Roseanne, I was like, oh shit, they live kind of like us. I'm like, I see.
They struggle.
I was like, oh shit, they're struggling. But yeah, that show is fucking funny as hell.
Oh,
man.
it is.
She is so funny, man.
She's crazy.
She's crazy as fuck.
She's
but,
fucking crazy.
Man, I mean, what comedian isn't? I mean, most comics are.
That's true.
Look, you want to fucking punch other YouTubers.
There's you know, my favorite sitcom of all time was actually The Cosby Show. Like The Cosby Show was
yeah.
something I grew up since I was a little fucking kid.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I had the biggest fucking crush on Denise.
Oh,
yeah,
my
we
God,
all
who
did.
didn't? Oh, my God.
God.
Denise was what's her name, right?
Zoe's mom.
Zoe's mom.
Zoe's mom.
Kravitz's mom.
She's I remember watching that show, and I think like the first episode was the most refreshing because it was and I watched it later on as an adult, and it got funnier because it was just essentially Bill Cosby's stand-up.
Yeah.
And so when Theo was in his room and he was telling his dad this whole, I call it the white sitcom speech, and he goes, "Dad, why can't you just accept me for who I am?" And he goes, "That's the dumbest thing."
He broke that completely. I love
Right.
that because that was such a stereo,
Right,
like a
right.
cliche to use.
And I think that was the pilot episode.
Yeah, I think it was with the bat, right?
Yeah,
Because he
yeah,
even
yeah.
picked it up. Nah, I ain't
Yeah.
going.
It was fucking funny, man. And,
Amazing,
And that show
man.
gets funnier as an adult when I watched it again. And I was like, damn, this shit is fucking hilarious.
hilarious, man.
And it really molded my perception of what I wanted in life too, right? Because
how so?
well, because that show had a very powerful woman that was his partner that arguably was probably more successful than he was. She was a partner at a fucking
Lawyer,
law
yeah.
firm, right? And I know he owned his own practice, but she was everything that you wanted in a woman so like for me, I think I kind of attribute what I like in women to fucking Mrs. Cosby.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, like somebody who is opinionated, that challenges me all the time. And because I watched that show religiously because I didn't have cable.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, I didn't have cable. So all I had was public television.
Right.
And the Cosby Show was always
Same
fucking
thing. It was just repeats of that all the time.
Yeah.
I love that show.
And I didn't really think much of it growing up, that it was weird to watch two very strong like black figures that had a great family life, that wasn't doing like hood comedy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You didn't think of it like that. You just
No.
watched it. Yeah.
It was just a really fucking funny ass show.
The funny, just the entertaining family.
Then he had to
Just
go and start
watch.
raping and shit. I was like, fuck, man.
Yeah. Those kids don't want to ride that lap anymore.
I defend.
You remember that episode?
Oh man.
That's so
Those
fun.
kids don't want to ride that lap anymore.
Yo, I remember I defended the fuck out of Cosby when the first allegations came out. I was
Oh,
like,
man.
there's no fucking way. And then Witness 76 came out, and I was like,
It's 76.
I was like,
maybe. I'm not sure, but maybe.
I just think he's been doing it. It's just like they just wanted to shut him down. So I was like, all right, let's bring it out.
Yeah. I mean, there's stories that I hear from a lot of people about him, even prior to all the stuff coming out, that the reason why I feel like I ignored it was because it just didn't seem real, you know, and I felt like it was hearsay. And you don't want to condemn somebody based on hearsay,
right.
because a lot of people could just start talking shit and make you look bad just because they don't like you as a person. So I heard this story where there was a makeup artist who, basically the makeup artist told the story about Cosby coming up and groping her, and he verbatim said, I can do this because there's nothing you can do about it. And then, you know, she would talk about this story and like it happened yesterday, and she fucking hates him. Hates him. And so, and I heard this through somebody else, so it's hearsay for me. So
we have a similar story. This is not any rape story or anything, but this is just a funny ass story. We were in the middle of pitching at somewhere, Comedy Central. We were working with another writer at the time, this older gentleman. And he was a writer that worked with Bill Cosby. So he told us this story one time. He went into, I think it was his first time meeting Bill Cosby. He went to his house. He said, this guy has leather floors. It's heated. And he walked in, you got to take off your shoes. He said he walked into his office. He said, oh, Mr. Cosby, nice to meet you. He said, oh, nice to meet you, son. Da, da. And so he started pitching him this like animation type thing, and he tried to explain a reference from The Incredibles. Like, oh, it's like The Incredibles. And Bill Cosby looked at him and said, son, I haven't seen a movie since 1975 because he's blind. He was completely... He said, I haven't seen a movie since 1975. And here this man is trying to explain The Incredibles to
That's
him.
fucking
animation. I was dying. And we bust out laughing during the pitch meeting, and all the white executives like,
oh shit. Yo, I kind of cracked up because when when Cosby went to jail and shit, I heard the first day somebody threw Jello pudding at his face.
Oh my God.
And I know that was supposed to be a sad article, but I was dying. I was like, that means
Jesus
these
Christ.
motherfuckers knew he was coming to prison, and they're like, I got this Jello pudding, and I gotta do something with this.
Do you think that's like payback for how Bill Cosby treated Eddie Murphy?
I think it's payback how he treated those women. Why would Eddie Murphy give a fuck?
No, I'm saying like it's like karma for his career. Because my thing is, I feel like a lot of these guys, a lot of these people, men with power, anybody with power, has done some fucked up shit that you can call them on
they can
at any time. Probably.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course.
But I feel like, I don't know. I feel like your karma kind of does come back to you a little bit, and how you treat people is how you get treated in the end.
I didn't even know he mistreated Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, he mistreated. He pretty much told Eddie Murphy to stop doing what he was doing
because he didn't like him cursing.
He thought it's too vulgar, and he said, if you ain't got nothing to say, don't go on stage.
And this is back in the day, like when Eddie just was starting to stand up and stuff.
Yeah,
so like when he was starting to get hot, and Eddie
so like
Murphy,
you could have killed the whole that whole career and everybody that Eddie Murphy birthed off of just saying something like that. And he was like that towards a lot of comics who weren't clean necessarily.
He was like that towards a lot of black people. It was always that pick up your pants shit like that. We got to do better. Like fuck out of here, dog. Like, what are you talking about?
What's wrong with him?
Just old and powerful. Yeah. When I feel like when you get money at a certain age, you stop growing at that age for some people. It's like, I got money at 25. I'm not going to think anything else. Like this obviously worked what I thought.
Maybe he misinterpreted what Bill Cosby was saying. Maybe he was like, if you got nothing nice to say, just rape. Maybe that's what he was saying. This fucking crazy ass motherfucker.
I mean, he comes from them. Like, I mean, he used to talk about it in stand up, the Spanish Fly and all this shit that they put in drinks. I mean, all them the Rat Pack days. Those guys were probably raping women left and right.
Nobody knew any better. Fucking Elvis Presley's wife was like 14 or 13.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that's
cancel Elvis Presley too, then motherfucker. You ain't canceling Michael Jackson. I'm sorry. Yo,
let him touch your little kids.
I feel so bad. I feel okay for saying this now because R. Kelly is in jail now. So
is he
right?
officially?
Isn't he in jail?
I don't know.
What the fuck? Who called me? No, but I thought he was in jail now.
I don't know.
They did arrest him again, but I don't know if it's like finite.
Oh well, I'm listening to his music again, so I'm completely fine with that. It's fun. I was
like, people have a problem with that. I don't give a fuck, man.
Yeah.
Like the artist, do you associate the? Can you separate the artist from his art?
I think I can. I think I could do it. So let's say if it was fresh, I'd be like, damn, R. Kelly, I might not listen to you for a little bit because of how I feel. But then the moment Step and then Lay and Love comes on, it's game over.
Like I want to support those songs, like those feel good songs that don't have nothing to do with sex.
Yeah.
But I feel like even when you do that, you just supporting his cause, his habit.
Yeah. That's I guess that's the
If he did it, he's gonna go to jail. Like that's not my priority to stop his music. Like I'm just enjoying music that was put out into the world. Once it's put out into the world, it's basically not yours anymore. I mean, he's making money off of it, but
He's still making money off.
I mean, but
I don't know. I feel a way. I'm usually the type to say I don't give a fuck. But when I hear some of those lyrics, I'm just like, that's a kid he talking about.
Okay. Some of the songs, yes, I do agree.
Well,
like
all the songs that are about sex, obviously, because he
not
only
all
likes
the songs
well,
are
he
about
only likes
kids,
young
man.
girls. He says I only like young. He said I like young girls.
Nah, man. I don't see nothing wrong with a little bumper grind. That's not. Does he say 13 in the background?
Yeah,
he had that interview that cracked me the fuck
with
up.
Gail.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
yes,
that was the
man.
interview of the century. He lost it.
He is a fucking maniac. I was like, yo, keep your shit together.
I was like, what?
bro.
When I saw the interview, I was like, what can he say that's gonna change people's minds right now?
Yeah,
I was like, he can only make it worse. And when I started watching just how emotional he was, I was like, he has the emotions of a teenager. You know how like teenagers get when they're backed into a corner, like
This is my life. I was like,
you.
I ain't hogged out nobody.
yo,
Let's be serious. But and everything he said, I'm like, nah, that doesn't make sense.
that was only a because if you see his even older interviews where he was like, I forgot what it was in the docuseries.
Are you talking about the one where he was like, do you like teenage girls? And he said, when you say teenage, what you mean?
How old you talking?
How old you talking?
Like,
Yo,
what the
his PR person was like,
No, all his
She shot
PR,
herself in the head.
all his PR should never work again in this industry.
Yo, man.
Like either that or like you committing a career suicide working with R. Kelly. Because it's like, who wants to work with you after you do you
do
did
you
that?
like teenage girls? How old is a teenager? I was like, that is the wrong fucking answer.
Wrong.
That
Wrong
is the
answer.
wrong fucking
Wait,
answer.
did you see what happened with his lawyer?
Nah.
They asked his lawyer. I guess his lawyer went on the news or whatever. Like, this is a job. I have and as of all accounts, R. Kelly's not guilty. The interviewer asked him, "Would you leave your child with R. Kelly?" He said, "No, hell no." This is his lawyer, and he had to back away from the case now. This fucking went on the news, and he couldn't say it. I mean, honestly, who's gonna say yes? I'll leave my child
Right.
with R.
But
Kelly.
you just can't honestly say that.
You won't. You're even if it's just an accusation.
Right.
I don't give a fuck. I'm not leaving
Yo,
my kid.
that documentary was literally a documentary about the worst human beings on earth because everybody fucking knew and they
Yeah.
just let it go.
Yeah.
I was like, and they were trying to make it sound like they were victims. I was
Yeah.
like, you ain't a victim, bro. You knew he was raping
Right.
people. And you were just like, that's it. That's Kelly.
Eating. Yeah.
It's crazy. People, I think, when they're doing bad shit, if they get away with it for long enough, it just becomes like normal.
Well, the thing
it's
is,
like,
I feel like
this is what I didn't see it.
You
any
always
differently.
justify it. You've been justifying it from the beginning.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you felt a hint of, oh, this feels weird.
Yeah.
But then somebody smooth talks you, or you're just weak. You're not. And then you just go on about the day.
They said this fool would be patrolling around like junior highs and shit. It's like, yo.
No, he would go to McDonald's and pick up little junior high school girls and talk to them there.
This is like-
and when he got out of jail, he went back to the McDonald's. Like, yo, you can't. You see how hard it is to write sketches nowadays.
That's what I'm
like,
saying.
you can't write this
Because he already
shit.
did it. He already did it.
He's already doing it. Trump's already doing it. He's doing it. Like, you can't write better than
This
these
shit
guys'
sounds like a
lives are.
fucking roast. That's what it sounds like. It's like, how the fuck, how do you just, I can't even write shit like this, man.
You
It's
can't.
so fucking
Right.
funny. Like, who patrols a fucking McDonald's, dude?
Bro.
Like, what human being does that shit? Did you guys also watch that Michael Jackson shit though, right?
I watched the first 10 minutes and I turned it off.
You know,
The newest one, right? Because
Yeah.
there's like,
But I watched the whole interview with Oprah. Oprah interviewed them right after the documentary came out.
I did see that though with the guys.
Yeah,
right?
and that made me, because at first when I first watched it, the first 10 minutes, I was like, I'm turning this off. This is bullshit. One, because I felt like they were fantasizing about their accuser.
yeah.
It was almost like when he came into the room, it's like there was a glow behind him. And I'm like, wait, is this the guy you talking about? You gonna tell me just that raped you? Like, I don't care how good I thought a person was. If you rape me, coming on that documentary, fuck this nigga. When I see him again, it's a wrap. Like first time I met him, yeah, he looked cool, but fuck him. Like, I don't care. Like my emotions are gonna be what it is. So I felt kind of turned off. I felt like they were just like trying to come up off of it.
The funny thing was like, fuck. Sometimes like when I watch these things and I know I'm supposed to be sad, I'm like, damn, I must be really fucked in the head because I laughed throughout the whole docuseries.
I did too. I did.
No, a lot of it was. There was a part
I was in tears laughing because it was Wade Robinson talking about. He said Michael Jackson. He made me go into a corner, spread my butt cheeks, and he started masturbating. I was like, hold on a second, bro. You're telling me he had you go to a corner, which is very specific.
Yeah.
Spread your butt cheeks. He didn't touch you, but he was just like, that's what I like. And he just started jacking off on the spot. I'm like, this is some weird shit.
I kind of feel like for guys, like molestation has like a shelf life for you.
Jesus Christ.
Like you at some point you just gotta walk that shit off after. If you 35, it happened when you were 5. You just it's done, man.
Hey man,
you are stronger now. You're better now.
Male rape affects males. Rape affects males the same way, man.
Fuck that, man. I had a dude like he tried to.
He tried to rape you?
He ain't try to rape me. He was like I was like 5 or 4 years old. And we had a bunch of kids over at my apartment or something. I don't know what was going on. I forgot. But there was an older kid there. And he kept talking about sex. And I didn't know what sex was at the time. But I remember him pulling out his dick and asking kids to touch it.
What the fuck?
Yeah. When I was like, I was like 5 years old.
Yeah.
And I just remember seeing that and some of the kids would go and touch it. And then I remember running back downstairs and telling my mom that they're having sexy upstairs.
Sexy.
What the
That's
fuck?
how like adolescent I was. I said
Whoa.
they're having sexy upstairs.
Who was
and then
the dude?
I never saw that kid again. I don't know. I don't even remember. I remember it was like we just had a bunch of kids in our neighborhood over. I don't know if it was we were playing games or something, or there was like a function now. I don't know. I don't even remember, but it was
Marcus Houston. That's what it was. No, okay.
Motherfucker, walk that shit off, man.
It's funny.
Obviously, I can't compare that to getting your butthole touched, but
yeah,
I
feel like you just have a stronger mental fortitude than other people do, man. Because
you're a comedian.
I'll be real though. Like I feel like I would be more like you though, because there's like a lot of fucked up shit that happened to me as a kid that I just kind of walked off.
Yeah,
But that could also be because I had very good parents too, so they kind of helped me out in that type of sense as well. But definitely there is to this thing where if a guy gets raped, they usually keep it fucking quiet. They
do. Yeah, it is fucked up.
Because if somebody fucked me in the ass, I'm keeping that to the fucking grave.
Oh yeah. You just gotta go down with it.
Because I would just be on this podcast and you guys are talking about how fucked up rape is, and I would agree with you, and I'd just be sweating throughout the whole thing. Like my shirt be turned into a dark navy blue. Just
laughing so fucking hard. Yeah, that's funny.
That's the hard part for dudes, right? Because it's difficult for everybody.
Yeah,
but
Chappelle has that joke. Then you remember
he says
that?
if 7 guys came forward, that means 1 million guys got raped.
Exactly. Like you just gotta walk that shit off.
It feels like you lost. It's like how did I let this? It's like you lost a fight. Like how did I let this happen?
And then there's the thing is you don't think anybody's gonna care either.
Then there's
if just being a guy, you're automatically put in the power position.
There's this weird thing. I don't know how this conversation came about before, but somebody asked. It was it was on this podcast. They go, "Would you rather suck a dick or get fucked in the ass if you had one choice? If you were in prison?" And then,
man, those are options I don't like to answer right now.
I'm just gonna end up dying because I got fight. Right. We just got fight, bro. Like,
so I had a buddy who went to. He wasn't gonna get raped or anything like that, but there's like options in prison where. Because I've never been to jail. I don't know what that's like. I just know for a fact that if I do go to jail, I'm fucked. Like I'm soft. I'm soft. I'm hard out in this world, right? I get to run away if I want to. I'll talk all that shit.
Yeah.
But that's depending on the size of the human being.
That's hilarious.
But in prison it's a different type of thing. But he said that the moment he stepped in, he goes, "There's a couple of things that you have to do. Number one, you have to join a group or you're fucked. You're just fucked." And it's a race thing.
But this is my thing with this, man. Like, how old are these rules? Because I feel like jail probably has progressed since then.
I don't know.
I see dudes on
jail,
Instagram with TVs in their jails, like guys in jail with phones, TVs, like life. I'm not saying jail is no fucking Camp Anawana, but I'm just saying like, I don't know if the same rules apply. People change, like just the society of jail.
I mean, you get shit, what's it called? Snuck in. through the fucking ass or whatever.
Snuck in through the ass.
Or like the fucking, like, well, my friend said when he went to jail, like you basically pay the security guards or whatever, or the fucking, what do you call them? The POs or whatever.
Yeah.
And they get paid through family members and they sneak you in a fucking cell phone. And that's how you get your shit. And that's how he got his cell phone, because I saw his picture pop up on Facebook when he was in jail. And I was like,
so prisoners aren't just allowed to have
absolutely
cell
not.
phones.
That's not supposed to happen.
Right. Okay.
So yeah.
TVs? How about TVs?
Well, it depends on the type of jail that you go to, right?
Yeah.
So there's like satellite jails. So satellite jails are for people who, number one, it depends on what their sentence is, right? So I have a friend who's in a satellite jail right now because she snuck in like, I don't know, like 50 or 70 pounds of cocaine or some shit like that.
God damn.
So she
in her ass?
No. She was just walking around really large. And like, "Yeah, what the fuck is wrong with you?" But she basically got caught transporting shit. So she was a drug mule, you know. And so what they do is they get a lot of young people to do this for them because they'll have to take the rap for them.
How old was she?
She, I don't know, I was dating her at the time. She was like 20. Yeah, I make great choices. She was 22 or 23 at the time, and she basically got caught on the way, and they were monitoring her and tracking her the whole time. And so she's in a satellite jail right now because, number one, she did community service, she did all this stuff. It was like her first defense. And in a satellite jail is basically how I see it as, that she might argue with me on this after she gets out, but it's like jail college campus, right? So you got rec time, you got TV, you know, it's a lot more comfortable, and you develop skills after you come out of jail.
Okay.
Right. So there's satellite jails like that. And there's also white collar jails and blue collar jails, right? So white collar jails are people who do like stock market shit, right? And that's like the TV shit that you're talking about. I call it Martha Stewart jail.
Yeah.
So, but prison is still prison. Fucking prison. Because my uncle was he was an educator in Folsom Prison, one of the most scariest jails in the United States, and so it's still real out there. So it's fucking crazy. So when my buddy went to jail, he said that he had to join a quote unquote gang, which is just Asian people, and even then when he was there and that was his safe zone, within that year, they were training him to fight one of the other new inmates. It's just for fun, like cockfighting and shit. So you're just like a little pussy and a bitch in jail. So could you imagine what happens to people who are like child molesters? So there's like a hierarchy. Child molesters are the lowest of the low because people in jail have kids. And so when you're in there, if you're a child molester, you're pretty much fucked. Like you're basically fending for your life at that point every fucking day. And you might as well just be in solitary confinement because somebody's just going to come out and kill you. So, and then the highest people up top are cop killers.
They're like the most.
Yeah, they're like the most because they fucking killed whatever pigs or whatever.
Killed the man.
So that hierarchy is so fucking crazy in prison. I just know for a fact, for me, can't survive. If I'm going to jail, just kill me.
Yeah.
If I'm going to jail, just kill me.
Yeah, I'm soft.
There is this weird phobia of jail, even within our group. I mean, I'm just saying, like,
it's real.
Don't you feel like? I mean, it is real because of our, who we are and shit. Our skin color, on top of your skin color too. I mean, well, where you're from too.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's a phobia amongst a lot of people that like, oh, I don't want to go to jail. When I don't know if that should be on the top of our mind.
That's the thing. It shouldn't, but it is a realistic fear that is ingrained and constantly we're reminded of. It's like even with little shit like driving. Like I'm always
like, man, when you get pulled over.
Scary shit.
It's one of my. I don't even like my. I was with my girlfriend. My girlfriend was over to the house the other night. She was like, "Let's go walk." It was like 9 at night. I was like, "I don't walk at night." I was like, I don't walk in my neighborhood at night. And it's not even because I'm not gonna do anything.
Yeah,
but if something happens in this neighborhood,
you might be billing for it.
And they're looking for somebody,
right.
and there's a black guy walking. What do you think they're gonna do?
First one. That's fucking.
That's tragic. The shit. That's the shit I be thinking of. It's like I'm gonna mind my business and walk and just do my thing. But something's gonna happen. Police are gonna be looking for somebody, and I'm gonna be walking, and it's gonna be like I don't think it's gonna end well.
Yeah, sir, for sure. A woman was raped. We see, as soon as they say that, you're automatically.
I'm just gonna be like, all right, man, let's just talk about that. I ain't doing that.
That's the. You need to start off with, I didn't do shit.
When I get pulled over, shit, I get super nervous, and sometimes like it's funny because I think my parents own a black beauty supply store. I grew up in a predominantly black neighborhood. I forget that I'm not black. You know what I mean? So I get pulled over, and I'm like teetering in between that line of not white and not black. I'm like, can I say some shit to this cop and get away with it? And I'm like, I might be able to, but I'm not going to test this shit out. I'm just gotta, because we're in like this weird medium, right? Yeah. So it's like, you are somebody who is ethnic or color, but the way like white people look at Asian people versus how they look at black people are two completely different things. So it's like this weird space that I'm in. Because when I grew up in Sacramento, it was such an odd thing because I always felt like I didn't know where I belonged, right? So it was, I went to like a predominantly black church growing up. when I was like 15 and beyond. Before that, I went to an only Korean church. And then my parents owned a black beauty supply store. My best friend is black, but I'm still ethnically Korean because I wasn't born here. And there was this weird part where I had this store and people didn't understand who I was or where I stood on a lot of these topics or issues, right? So it would be this weird part where it's like, you're an Asian dude, you own a store in a mainly black neighborhood and you're rich, but they didn't know we were poor as fuck. And so it created this weird distance, right? Because I was poor, they were poor, we're all poor, but they just see the Asian business owner and they go, oh, you're fucking over here kicking off our fucking people. And I'm like, y'all don't even know. You arguably probably have more money than me because my parents being Asian American, they're too proud to even take government assistance. So we just had to just strap our fucking our boots and just fucking deal with that shit. And so it was such a weird spot for me as a kid because I just didn't know where I belonged. It's like I'm fucking hated here and I'm hated here too. So it's like, what am I gonna do at this fucking point, right? Yeah. And it caused a lot of like racial issues, especially after like the Latasha Harlan shit happened. You know, when she was killed by that Korean store owner when I was a young kid, right? And she was just had a
movie about that.
Yeah, we basically highlighted, and that was my whole experience in that film. It's like, where do I really belong? So I wasn't. And then when I came out on YouTube, right? And you know, when I speak, I don't hear a hood twang at all. I think I'm trying to talk as wide as possible, in my opinion, but it's just in there somehow. I don't know how to like completely take it out. Not that I really care to, right? And the only reason why I did try to take it out was when I was trying to get jobs. I couldn't get hired because they didn't want people to be in sales talking the way that I speak. And so when it became very apparent that people didn't like the way that I spoke. And even now, you'll scroll through some comments and like, look at this Asian guy trying to sound like a black person. And I'm like, damn, this is what the fuck am I supposed to do then? You know,
it shouldn't matter. Honestly, like I feel like Asian people and black people, man, we really like each other. Like we have this weird cultural, like we take from each other all the time. Like we love Asian tattoos. Well, so does everybody. Like some type.
Yo, remember when it was the hottest shit ever. Like every fucking black girl was wearing the Chinese dresses and the fucking chopsticks in the hair, right?
Yeah.
Nobody said shit, but the moment a white girl put it on, it was like, that's a fucking problem.
Right. I remember
real
that.
shit though, man. Like everybody grew up with Dragon Ball Z now, so everyone falls in love with anime. I'm just saying, like the culture is just like hip hop is big. Korea, oh my god, like K-pop is just like.
It's a monster.
Yeah, it's a crazy monster, man. Like, but you could see the influence of hip hop. You could see.
I always say you could always like tell what cultures you fuck with depending on what you got your ass beat with, right? So it's like it's like as much as stories that we would tell. Like my friend would talk about stories about him getting his ass beat. I was like, me too. I just got beat with a bamboo stick. Like it's just like it's some different shit. Yeah.
I got hit with a switch. I got hit with a bamboo stick.
Cause I feel like black people and Asian people, they used to just beat the fuck out of their kids. That was just the shit that would connect us all together.
My mom was all about hands. Put your hands out, because she wouldn't want to leave scars everywhere. So just put your hands out, but she would tear them hands up.
My mom grabbed a broom a couple times. My dad, I shouldn't even say this. Sent my dad to jail 35 years later. I got a rolled up newspaper and he beat me like a fucking dog. He had told you, goddammit.
Yeah, I'll tell you my stories, dude. My dad once, so this is a funny ass story now, but it wasn't funny then. When I was a kid, I was a fucking class clown, right? Yeah. So my dad, he would, I remember this day too. So her name was Miss Gilkinson. So she calls my dad to come after school. And then my dad, because, we speak Korean and English, she would just be like, oh, your son's doing this and this. And my dad's like smiling and laughing. He goes, oh, I'm so sorry. And in Korean, he's saying to me, to my ear, he goes, when we go home, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And then, so she doesn't know why I'm crying, because my dad's like the most pleasant human being on earth, right? Yeah. And so he's just talking this mad shit to me. And I remember he goes, go into the house first, and he's just like fuming. And when he's mad, he drives fucking fast. Yeah. So he was driving super fast to the house, and his fists are all fucking clenched up. And I'm like, damn, he's gonna beat my ass. I just remember I walked into the house, and it's just dark. He goes, go inside. He goes inside, and I literally go inside the house. And I'm going to the living room. I turn around and a fucking office chair is flying at my head. Woo! He threw a fucking office chair at my head. I'm 8 years old. Dog, bah, hit me in the head. And he just started beating my fucking ass. And it's so funny when I look at it now. I'm like, damn, that probably was child abuse.
You damn right.
Definitely.
He beat the shit out of him. He beat me so fucking hard once that my whole ass was purple and I couldn't go to school for a week.
Dog, that's some brutal shit.
Yeah. So,
but it happens everywhere. I feel like people normalize it more than we should probably.
Yeah. I think this next generation of kids we're not going to beat them as much as we got.
But like for us though, like comedians, I feel like you gotta, like, that's what makes you funny.
Yeah,
that dark shit, that shit that happened in your life that, you know, might have been abusive, whatever your shit was, like, that makes you funny a lot of time. Like the shit people making fun of you while you're a kid, you know, being different like that. That shit makes you funny.
Yeah, I feel like that's what makes comedians who they are. They're flipping their pain in a way.
Yeah, very, very true. Yeah, that was the I don't know why. I don't look at that and I don't go like I hate my dad for it. I'm just like, damn, that shit was fucking crazy.
Are you and your dad mad cool now? Like,
we're super cool.
Yeah, I understand. I was like, my mom just didn't know. That's what she knew.
Right.
Yeah, she was trying her best to, like, she's probably scared that I was going to turn out bad, and the pressure's on her to not raise a fucked up child, you know?
And she's just a better version of her parents.
Right. Exactly. So to her, she's like, I'm not giving you to as worse as my grandparents or my mom did. So
your grandmother was probably a Nazi in the goddamn household. Like, can you imagine our parents' parents? Like, I know they used to get it.
Oh,
whipping.
for sure.
Like, like probably in public in front of everybody, and it was okay. Like, there was nobody going to say stop.
Your dad just pull out a gun on you.
And that was just
now walk home.
Stop crying.
Just give you one little Band-Aid on it.
Right. You'll be all right. Walk it off.
There you fucking go.
I remember one time my mom apologized for hitting me, and it was like,
she said sorry.
I'll never forget that day. It was like one time I think I came home and a teacher said I was talking, because that's the shit I used to do, like talk in class. I ain't do nothing crazy. And I was in the closet getting changed after that day. And my mom just came by and kicked the closet door, and I fell. And I think the way I fell and how kind of like sad I looked, she made her, like, the next day she was like, look, I'm sorry, you know. I'm sorry, you know. But sometimes, you know, you have to stop talking in class. I was like, I know, Mom.
That's fucking crazy. My parents have never said sorry to me once in my fucking life.
Man. A lot of parents never.
Never. I think my dad said sorry to me once. It's only because he fucked up on a phone number that I gave him. He was like, oh, sorry. And I was like, what? What'd you say? I didn't even know he knew what that word meant.
Right.
And my mom, I have a video recording of her telling me that she will never apologize because she says it's not in her. She goes, I don't know how to do it. She goes, just know that when I'm quiet, it means I'm sorry.
That's hilarious.
She goes, if I'm not saying shit, I'm sorry.
That's hilarious. Sometimes you just got to accept your parents are just going to stay that way.
Did you ever get beatings by other people?
Oh, at church, it was a free for all. Like I never
line up.
I didn't know that you could transfer parenting abilities to another Korean parent to whoop your fucking ass. And so, like, I would get my ass beat by people I don't know in the church, and they would tell my parents what I did,
and they would beat you.
Exactly. I would get a tag team. I'm like, so I got my ass whooped by this stranger, and I'm gonna get ass whooping at home.
Funny.
Shit fucking sucked, dude.
That is funny. It's funny. I went to a boarding school for 2 years.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it was underprivileged kids. They help out parents.
Oh, okay.
You can't take care of their family or whatever. So I went there for 2 years, and I just remember my first year there, I was a goofy kid. I was always class clown like you, doing the same shit. And I remember one day in our dorm room, it was in the bottom of a building. We were in the dorm room, and I went to the bathroom. We're laughing about something, doing some shit. And I remember dancing like this, and then all of a sudden, two of the kids that are facing me just looked up, and they stopped laughing with me while I'm there. I'm like, what's going on? And then I just feel the shadow of God over me, and I look back, and it's our. He's basically our hall father or whatever.
Yeah.
He takes care of all the kids on this, like the elementary school kids and shit. And he was this big white guy from Texas too. I mean, you would think immediately he's a racist, but I mean, he took care of us. But he turned around, he said, "Come here." And he took me to his, they have their own apartment area. And he told me, "Pull down your pants." And he took out a paddle, a straight wooden paddle, and this thing had it had holes in it.
That's the wind resistance. It gets rid of the wind resistance,
bro. He fucked me up, and I was ready to fucking leave so quick, yo. And I remember this wasn't the first time, because the first time I saw a kid get paddled, he told everybody line up outside of the dorm. Probably 20, 30 kids, and this one kid. I remember he was crying. He was like, I'm sorry. He was like, you're going to learn today. He told him, pull it on his pants. He took that paddle. Bop! He went running across the door. I mean, he cleared it. He went running across. He said, come back here. He said, come back. He's crying and shit, holding his ass. He said, he hit him again. Bop! Like, he ran around the goddamn. It was like indoor track, bro. He was running around that bitch. But yeah, man.
Like he wound this fool up like a little toy car.
Right. But I just feel like today you're going to get in trouble for shit like that.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
not,
like
I
you
don't think
can't.
that's progressive.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like I'm not really. The reason why I don't want to beat my kids is simply because I'm lazy, man. I ain't trying to fucking sweat to punish you.
I feel like there's a way to talk it out. There's obviously a better way to do it, but at the same time, don't you kind of think it creates a little bit of a backbone for the child?
I mean,
I
think like up to a certain age, I might give him a little tap on the ass, whatever, flick in the forehead or some shit.
Yeah.
But after a while, it's like if you can't talk out your fucking problems at a certain age, when you're cognizant as a human being, then we're gonna have fucking issues. Because at that point, they'll beg that I'll fucking beat them because I'll do way worse shit. I'll do fucking mental warfare shit. I will show up butt naked at your school. Like, you have no fucking idea. I will.
That's the right way to do it, David.
Yo, that's the best punishment.
I will fucking mentally scar the fucking shit out of you.
Right.
Be like,
That's hilarious.
Please, Dad, just
When my mom
beat me.
stopped beating me, what she did was she used to make me wear these little ass shorts.
Yo.
And as a kid, right now I rock them shits
it's
and probably
dope.
make them stylish. You know what I'm saying? But as a kid, I was like, Mom, I don't want to wear these shorts. She's like, no, you're wearing them. So every time I would get in trouble, when she stopped beating me, she would just make me wear these shorts for the whole week, and the same shorts.
Yeah.
And people would just, Mike, why are you wearing those shorts? And Mom, baby. And I swear to you, after that week, I was good for like 2 years.
Would you do that to your kid?
Maybe. Something like that I might do.
Now, would you go as far as putting it on the internet? Have you seen these
Nah, I
parents
wouldn't
that
put it
do
on the
that?
internet. I
I
wouldn't put it
think
on
that's
the
even more humiliating than
whooping your kid.
whooping your kid.
Yeah. I wouldn't do that.
Because that's
gonna stay there forever.
I've seen the kids like
Shaving their
shave their
head.
head
Nah.
off and put it online. That's how you treat
That's
your
too
kids.
much work because I
Like,
gotta set up a camera, dude.
Yeah, right.
Right, upload it and title it. And all that,
Your
tag it.
punishment is grab me a beer.
I gotta think about a clickbait and shit.
Right.
It's like, why's my punishment? I just gotta do stuff for you. It's like, cause daddy's lazy, dude.
Right.
Like I'm asking the kid, what should I tag it and shit? And
Give me a hashtag.
You know, bitch. Oh shit. Well,
hey,
man.
I gotta go put money in the thing. But I guess we're
Yeah, man. We wrapped up now, though.
right.
Oh man,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Usually this
brother.
podcast only goes like 50 minutes.
How long did we go?
It was an hour 30.
Hey,
That shit was good,
let's
man.
do it, man.
The best podcast yet. Hey, guys. Well, before we sign out, tell them where they can find y'all.
Dormtainment at Dormtainment on Twitter and everything, and our YouTube Dormtainment TV, and we got this new show Room Noise with David's gonna be on soon.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And just look out for greatness. Well, check out my album Daddy Season, brown skin music video out now. And yeah, man,
Your
just
Instagram IG,
Mike Dam,
Amanuel Richards. Just follow us, Amanuel with an A.
Yeah, man. But you can find Genius Brain on Spotify podcast, any type of audio platform. Don't you guys got a podcast too?
Oh yeah.
Yes, Comedy Trap House. Please tune in, watch it, check it out. And also, we got a Patreon for that you can check out. But listen to us first. I think you'll like it. And if you like
you'll
it,
for sure
you'll
like it.
I
It's a
think you'll
good
like
podcast.
it. Yeah, it's a good podcast.
Yeah, get on that podcast. Watch this shit. Some of the most talented human beings I've ever met in my life.
Oh, man.
brother. You
man.
too,
Same stuff. We love you, man. Honestly, like if it's one person, we always think of whenever we have a project, something comes along, how can we fit David So into this?
Dude,
Somehow.
let me know.
You know what
If
I
you
mean?
need somebody slapped, let me know too. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.